Hello everyone and welcome back to Two Bros Hot Takes, where we watch a movie and then tell you if you should watch a movie. I'm your movie watching host, Older Bro.
I'm your other movie watching host, Younger Bro.
And today, we return to the series that has long since forgotten how to be funny. I say this with love. Despicable Me.
Yep, Despicable Me is back. We got 4.
Yeah. No, as much as I kid about this movie being having a lack of ability to be funny, it actually had some quite funny moments.
But it had its moments.
But I will say, this is that franchise where I looked at it and was like, I don't understand. Like, I enjoyed the first movie. I don't understand why this series keeps going. I've wholly expected it to end 2 movies ago, and yet it keeps going. So I'm just like,
at this moment, it's 3 movies ago.
oh no! I was perfectly fine with them continuing it after 1 to 2. I'm just saying, like, I'm shocked that they've
1, 2,
continued
3, then Minions 1, Minions 2, and then 4.
Yeah, so it's like I'm definitely shocked that they had a spin-off franchise just about the Minions, but I am shocked they didn't end already. Like,
yeah.
He got the girl. Why the fuck are we still here?
Yeah, we got to Despicable Me 3. Honestly, I was expecting Minions 3, not Despicable Me 4.
Yeah.
And we got 4 before Minions 3. I was like...
Yeah, so, anyways, as always with these, Younger Bro, what is your opinions of this movie?
Okay, so this movie, I actually thought it was better than Minions 2.
Now, I will wholly admit, I have not seen Minions 2. I believe. I frankly have forgotten what Minions 2 was.
We never went and saw Minions 2.
But Minions 1 was the one with the woman and the husband and the wife who are in this movie for a few seconds.
Yep.
But we'll get to that later. But I have no memory of what the fuck Minions 2 was.
Minions 2 was Gru growing up, and the Minions are now with Gru.
Uh-huh.
And Gru is trying to prove himself to the best villain team in the world. And he wants to be a part of that team. They deny him, obviously. And he's like, okay, I'll show you. I'm going to steal something precious of yours. Which they just stole, like, one of the most valuable things.
Mm-hmm.
Because, according to them, it's supposed to give you powers or some shit.
Sure.
Anyway, he ends up stealing that artifact, and the villain team goes after him.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, I definitely have never seen that. So, I can't speak to how good it is compared to that franchise.
That movie, I just thought, it was alright. It was okay. It wasn't the best... like, Despicable Me movie. Honestly, I think it's the worst one.
Mm-hmm.
But it was okay.
Yeah. Yeah, my opinion of this franchise so far is... this movie is... frankly speaking, I think that this is just the Fast and the Furious of kids' movies. It is a movie where you go in knowing exactly what you will see. You watch it. You get exactly what you expect to get. And then they make another one. And they just keep doing that. Like, what are we on now? Fast 12? Have they actually done 11? I know they did 10.
I don't know.
I don't know if they did 11. Point is, we've had at least 10 Fast and the Furious movies, probably more, and definitely at least one Fast and the Furious spinoff, I'm pretty sure.
Yes, Hobbs Shaw.
Yes. So...
Hobbs Shaw was actually pretty good.
Yeah, so... the Despicable Me feels like that, but for kids' shows. It's just... a movie series that I don't understand why it keeps going. But it keeps going, and the movies are all fine. Like, they aren't the best thing since sliced bread, but to be fair, I don't think Illumination truly cares if they're making... like, I do not sense in Illumination that they want to be Pixar. I don't think they care about making great movies. They are the Aniplex. They're like, well, here's a new show, here's a new show, here's a new show, here's a new show. They don't care if they're quality. They just want to make a movie that is disposable. You will watch it, you'll find it to be fine, and then you throw it away and watch the next one. And there's no lasting memories here. It's like, it's a fine movie. I found it to be enjoyable. Would I recommend you go watch it? Not really. Like, I don't know. It's like, do you need to waste 2 hours? Sure, I guess. Like,
I'd say if you want to know the full story as it is right now, you should go watch this
yeah,
movie.
how many people are invested? Like, actually invested in Despicable Me and being like, oh, I've got to look up the lore of Despicable Me. I've got to get in there and see the latest hijinks of Gru. It's like, I can't imagine. If you have kids, it's a fine kids movie. You can go watch it. It will waste a good 2 hours and they'll probably enjoy it.
Yeah, like, we actually had a little bit of a lively theater, but it was mainly the kids reacting, and occasionally I bursted out laughing because there was some really good moments, I have to admit.
So, yeah, it's one of those things where I don't hate this movie by any means. I do not want to come off as saying I'm hating this movie by any means. But again, it's another one. If you watched Despicable Me 2, you have seen this movie. If you've watched Despicable Me 3, you've seen this movie. They are the same movie, just they keep going.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and say this. This is why I think Minions 2 is the worst of the movies. Because in Minions 2, yeah, there were some moments in them.
It has a couple of okay moments.
Like, moments that I did find enjoyable.
Yep.
But I never bursted out laughing.
Yeah.
All the other movies I did.
Yeah. This movie definitely has some moments where you might laugh and go, okay, that's a good joke. On the whole, it's probably not that funny.
Like, it's not designed to be, like, this movie is not exactly designed to be funny. It has funny elements, but it's a more serious kind of movie.
Yeah, which for Despicable Me is like, what?
Yeah.
You're not a franchise designed to be serious. Why are you being serious?
So, I do not think this is the worst of the movies at all. Frankly, I think it's decent.
Yeah, it's a decent movie.
Like, I don't know if it was better than Minions 1 or Despicable Me 1, but
I don't think I could ever say it's better than Despicable Me 1 because for the sheer reason, Despicable Me 1 was new. There was not a lot of movies like Despicable Me 1. Like, what was the thing you were going to think of if you watched Despicable Me 1? Megamind? What were you going to compare it to? So it's like, it wasn't high comedy or anything, but it was a fun, enjoyable movie about stealing the moon. You basically are like, oh, I get to see Carmen Sandiego, but a guy. Like, it's...
I think this is probably the 4th best film.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
The fact that it's like the 4th best film out of 7.
6.
So it's middle of the road for Despicable Me, basically.
It is middle.
Yeah. Just... But yeah, okay. Anything else we want to talk about before we get into spoilers on this movie? I guess you said in the car. You said in the car the music was good.
Oh yes. Yeah, guys. This the reason why it's middle ground for me is it did have some really, really great music. Honestly, it's probably as good as like Despicable Me 3 levels of music. And Despicable Me 3 had some classical music in there.
Yeah.
Like, it was classic pop, and then with Despicable Me 4, it was like just classic rock almost, or R&B.
Maybe disco. I'm not sure. I can never identify exactly.
Minions 2 was disco.
Okay.
But yeah, I loved the music. Music is great. Like, the theme song's kind of still in my head, like at least the beat for it.
Yeah.
So, if you want to hear some damn good, I think it was like unique music. Like, they made that song for that movie. If you want to hear some movie-made songs that are really good, Despicable Me 4 is probably what you want to see.
Sure, but if I'm gonna recommend a movie for the music, I'm gonna be even more terrible and be like, go watch Trolls, the whole franchise. That's some good goddamn music.
Yeah, but they actually sing it. But I'm talking
Yeah.
like,
But just background music.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, movie has some good background music.
Yes.
But yeah, like, I never thought cause okay, I'm not necessarily a snob, but there's a part of me that actually did like Glee and Pitch Perfect. I was kind of too good to watch them though, because they had a stigma of just, oh well, they're terrible. So I never feel like I can recommend a movie that's sort of like that. But I'm just like, no, I have no problem recommending you should watch Trolls. It is that good.
Yes.
Trolls
is great.
It's Justin Timberlake's best work that he's ever made. And that's including his entire music career. Some of which is in these movies. Like, so, yeah. Anyway, continuing on about this movie. So, that's it for the non-spoiler section. We're going to start talking about the actual spoilers of this movie.
Yeah, guys, so, it's obvious if you haven't seen the trailers that this is going to be bad guy coming after me, I have to go hide kind of movie.
Yeah, so it's a witness protection movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm going into hide, I'm going to witness protection. Yeah.
There's a few movies like that, and honestly, because of that, I knew it wasn't going to be that long because I've experienced this kind of thing with the other movies.
Yeah.
They don't typically get that long.
It was only an hour and a half.
Because pretty much how it goes is you go hide, the villain eventually finds you, you fight off the villain, movie ends.
Well, yeah, but there's a lot you could do in that. You could absolutely have a lot of moments where the villain's right on your tail, but you're able to escape him finding you. And this movie does not really do that. One of the things that I found about this movie is it's paradoxically felt too long and felt too short.
Yeah, it wasn't Terminator levels of like.
No, it's not a thriller of like he's gonna get me.
Yeah, honestly, that's what I was expecting. Where they find the first location, they go to the next, and then the next, and they didn't do that.
No. Now, I will say,
it was funny that they actually did reference the Terminator in that movie.
Yup.
That was great.
It was the moment in that movie where, and I kind of don't want to give too much away about this moment, because it's like, if you are watching this movie, you should go experience this moment. The entire supermarket scene is so great. But I'm just like, what the fuck? We get no closure to that. That happens. It just happens, and it never comes back up. And it's like, what the fuck? But yeah, absolutely excellent moment. One of the actual best moments in this movie, hands down, was that. I will say, though, it felt paradoxically to me too long and too short, because I kept expecting to do more cutaways to like something else happening, and they just don't.
Yeah, like, they actually had they had a decent amount of cutaways, but not enough that was annoying.
No, but cutaways is probably the wrong term, but I'm just like, I expected it to have more plot. Here's why I'm kind of mixed on this movie. I simultaneously, while watching it, felt that they cut away too much, and they had too much side plot going on, and simultaneously did not have enough stuff happening in this movie. And I'm like, I don't know how to to make those fit, but I'm like, yeah, this is probably because of the anime we're watching right now, which I won't go into.
Like, I thought the Poppy chick from the other family, I thought she was going to work for the main villain.
Yeah.
That's what I was getting. That was the vibes I was getting.
I appreciated what they did in this movie with her.
Yes.
I actually like that.
She was a really great character. I want to say she's the best new character in that movie.
Yeah, absolutely. Wholly agree. She was a great new character. That some of the other characters were like very shitty, but they were shitty on purpose. Like they were douchey.
Yeah, I like the old grandma. She was great.
Yeah. The one thing I will criticize this movie for, it was frustrating as hell that they come up with this whole bit of you must live assumed identities, and they drop that basically as soon as it comes up, because they announce that they're gonna have these assumed identities. They talk about them. Agnes has negative desire to do that, so I understood why her plot of I can't lie happened. That made perfect sense. But then they just basically drop that shit immediately when he's discovered by Poppy. So it's like, he's never referred to as that again. The kids never refer to them almost ever as anything other than Gru. And, they use their own names internally. So we almost never see them actually say their assumed names on camera. And then...
Well, they do. At least Gru and...
A little bit.
His wife
yeah,
does.
a little
Lucy.
bit. Yeah, Lucy. A little bit. But the thing that frustrated me so much is that when the old lady comes over to the house and just oh, I'm a friend of Gru's, and not a single person says, I don't know who that is. Not a goddamn person commits to the bit. Come on! You just have somebody knocking at your door. Say, I'm sorry, I don't know a Gru. Anything!
Look, they're kids.
Yes, but they're kids of an ex-villain / ex or current agent hunting down villains.
AVO.
Yeah, it should be ingrained in them at a fundamental level of, okay, we are spies. We were villains. We're now spies, basically. You cannot ever acknowledge who we are to anyone. If they say that they know us, that don't matter. You don't say shit to them. You say, I have no idea who you are, have a nice day, and slam the door. Immediately. You make no contact, especially if you're explicitly told, hey, you are in hiding. You do not tell even your grandparents where you are. You tell no one. Yeah, it's like, oh my god, you break rule 1. The first moment someone comes to the door, immediately. But yeah, outside of that frustrating anger, which again, you're right, they're kids, so I get why, but I'm just like, no!
The only one who had any clarity was Poppy.
Yeah. She
and
picked
Marco
up on it immediately.
is the same age as Poppy,
Yeah,
and I'm
Mario.
just like, how are you not?
Yeah.
How was she not the big overprotective sister?
Yep.
And honestly, they should be older in this movie, and they're not.
No, they're never gonna age. Never.
They need
Despite
to
the fact
age.
the baby is
born.
It's clearly been at least a year. No, they ain't getting any older. Ever.
Yeah, I think that's probably what disappointed me most.
Yeah.
It's just they haven't aged.
Yeah.
What the fuck? There's no way in hell they haven't aged.
Yeah. I will say also, I love the fact that Poppy, who again, at this point in the movie, has now blackmailed Gru to do something, and then comes over to their house to hang out because, her job is done, and she kind of likes Gru, so I was like, fuck it, I guess I'll just actually get to know his kids. She just brings a honey badger into the house and not a goddamn person says anything. Except for one that's just oh, this is a weird dog. Not a single person asks, why do you have a honey badger? Or why are you bringing a honey badger into our house?
I thought that was a great moment. I'm like, oh, Gru has an apprentice.
It's cute. It's great. Absolutely excellent. But I'm just like, why does no one ask? Why do you have a honey badger? Why does Margot not ask?
I want to say they're still kids and they don't know a lot of animals.
I guess, but also it's just I get the feeling at this point she just doesn't give a shit anymore. She's just like, I'm Gru's daughter. This doesn't surprise me. This is not abnormal for me. I live in a mansion with 9 million minions. There's superhero minions in this movie, and that's not abnormal.
And that's not even new. They did
Nope.
that in Minions 2, and
Yeah.
honestly, they were... I don't know if the powers were necessarily better in Minions 2, but it was definitely more funnier with the Mega Minions. I thought they did the Mega Minions a little better. You're retired. And they actually went.
They actually went. I was so certain the bit was just going to be, we kill you. But no, they actually sent them into retirement.
They went into retirement. That was the funniest bit in the entire fucking movie.
Yeah. But again, here's kind of my problem with this movie, though. Because my problem with this movie is kind of a logic to this movie. This movie starts out with Gru going into this fight and being like, oh, I'm fighting an actual supervillain who is at or greater than my level. This is worrisome, especially since I have a kid at home. And then it's like, oh yes, I'm going to threaten Gru. Enough to send him into hiding. First off, Gru's mansion is presumably more secure than the Anti-Villain League safe house.
The problem is with the cockroach villain, he's a cockroach and he can
get in anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it's like, but I got that. It's like, okay, whatever.
I thought he was just going to be a cockroach-themed villain because that's what his ship was in the trailer.
That's sort of what they do with him.
And they do that.
That is accurate. In a lot of ways.
You'll see.
But yeah, so they do all that setup of like, this is going to be a movie where you go into hiding. And then they're just like, oh, but by the way, we're also going to have a superhero movie happening concurrently to your movie. And it's like, while that moment was great, I'm like, but why are the superheroes here? What do they add to this movie? The whole point of this movie is about them being in hiding.
I think the goal was to make those minions fight the cockroach man, which happens.
Yeah, but it's just like, I feel like this movie tried to do two separate things at the same time and needed to pick one. It either needed to be a movie where they're going into hiding because he's out to get them and they need to just avoid him. And has nothing to do with the superheroes. Or the opposite. This villain is out to get them, so the Anti-Villain League creates these super minions to specifically fight him, and that's the plot of the movie. Is them creating the minions and fighting them.
Instead, the head guy of the entire AVL just sends them out. And I'm just like,
yep.
That is the stupidest decision. You know minions, my guy.
Yeah.
How the hell?
Well, here's the fact.
What were you expecting,
relying on minions to do anything is already a fundamental error. You just should never rely on them to reliably follow your directions, ever.
The only minions that were even decent at their job in this movie was the ones that took care of the baby.
Yep.
Oh, and by the way...
Because they recognize that, okay, here's the thing I always think about for these minions. The thing that I have to just accept is the minions are doing this as a bit. The minions are being stupid on purpose. They are quite capable of being serious. They have no desire to be serious. But when you're handling a baby, not being serious is not acceptable. You have to be 100% serious about making sure that the baby is okay. So that's the only way you will get the minions to ever not be stupid, is by making them have to take care of a young child. Something that is so serious that they don't have time to make jokes. And it's like, anything else, and they'll just do whatever the fuck they want.
Yeah, I like how the minion that had the laser, it was so powerful, it went straight through the earth.
Yep.
And out the other side, I was like, oh shit, he might be more powerful than Cyclops.
Yeah.
Like, holy shit.
By the way, there was one scene, I don't know if you want to talk about it, there's one scene in the part where they send them out just to patrol and to do a test for the super minions to make sure that they are good. And there is exactly one minion scene where I saw it and said, Fuck you.
Both-
you are not
both
worth.
me and
You're
you
not
said
deserving of that scene. Fuck you.
They reenact the Sam Raimi Spider-Man train scene.
You have not earned that goddamn scene.
Oh, that was so hilariously
like-
bad. I was like, no.
Like I thought it was funny, but I'm also just like, fuck you. Like, of course, what else would you do? But it's like, but fuck you. You didn't earn that scene.
Another one of the best scenes that I liked was when Poppy killed it at Dance Revolution.
Yeah, they had DDR show up in this movie. I'm like, what the fuck is DDR doing in this movie?
Everybody stopped watching a game to watch a fat kid was killing it on Dance Revolution. Haha, dance you fat bitch.
Yeah. But yeah, no. Yeah, Poppy, hands down, best character in this movie by about 7,000 miles.
Her and her cat.
Yeah, she has a
I
great...
want her to have her own movie.
She has a great desire to become Gru's successor, basically.
Yes.
To become the greatest villain. And she's just like, I'm gonna get into my villainy school no matter what.
And
Fucking excellent.
I think that is going to be DM5. It's going to be about her.
Could be. I could
and
see
she's going to be his successor. Guarantee it.
Could be.
I would love it.
Yeah.
Fucking
But
a whole movie about her. Yes.
Absolutely excellent. Now,
Hollywood, we're giving you your idea. Do
Now,
it.
I can't remember from the trailers. I did see some of the trailers because they were in theaters when I was watching other movies. I distinctly remember in the infiltrating the school scene, I swore Poppy was not in it. I thought they had the kids with them.
Poppy was in one trailer scene where she's descending on the rope with Guru.
Yeah, but I almost certainly remember in the trailers that the kids were there. I swore I remember the kids being at the school in one of the trailers.
At the school? No.
And I can't...
Only the baby
yeah,
was.
and I was like, yeah.
You were thinking of the minions standing with them.
Could be, but yeah, I swore the kids were with them at one of the trailers. But I was like, no, guess I misremembered. But yeah, scene was, yeah, the entire school scene, great. Anything with Poppy, great. I think that's my big thing with this movie, is this movie just had so many side plots. I feel like they forgot to actually focus on the main plot too much, of them being in hiding. It's like, because yeah, it's like, this movie was simultaneously a superhero movie where they make the super minions, a movie where they have the Gru family go into hiding, a movie where basically Kung Fu Panda 4, where the new dragon warrior villain must go on an adventure with the old dragon warrior. So it's like could you focus this movie a little bit more? Obviously, the Minions are gonna make them any movie unfocused because they're the Minions, but like, there was like 3 movies in this movie.
Yeah, I as sad as it is, even though the Minions, like the retirement bit was one of the,
it was
was the best like joke in the entire movie.
Yeah.
I think they just needed to cut it.
Yeah, I think they should have just cut the whole Super Minions out of this movie.
Yeah,
and because I think the stuff with Poppy fits with the whole movie about them being in hiding, because she's like, if you don't do this, I will out you. It's like,
I can say her line exactly. That's the thing about blackmail. You kind of have no choice.
Yeah,
like that was so great.
Yes, it's absolutely excellent. Like, her plot would have worked in this movie alongside them trying to, like, just cut the Minions out that dealing with AVL. Just ignore them. Just ignore that the Minions with AVL exist. Just cut all that out. Or just have honestly, what they should have just done is got rid of every bit that the Minions were in. Just had the bit where they're like, oh yes, we'll take the Minions to the AVL facility. I'm sure we'll be able to deal with them there or something.
And then all the cutaways.
And cut all the cutaways. And then don't show it again until they're like, oh no, we've been compromised. And then you flash to that scene where they're going around the whole office, showing all the Minions taking over the whole building and it being a wreck. Like, just ignore all the other cutaways and just do that one. Yeah. And it's just like, that would just be like, well, couldn't trap the Minions even for a fucking second.
So much more sense.
Yeah. So, okay. Anything else we want to go over?
Yes, the very, very end scene. So, yeah, guys, Gru and the main bad guy, they sort of make...
Have a rivalry.
They kind of make up.
Yeah.
And
I don't really get why they did that. They had the whole bit of this movie is that he's pissed off at Gru for slights that's happened since high school.
I got
But,
why
like,
they did that for 2 reasons. One, Gru did not want to have this bullshit happen again. Where
Sure.
somebody goes after his family.
Sure.
After they break out of prison. So he's like, yeah, I'm gonna go talk to him.
Yeah.
I
came here. Like, what do you mean that wasn't an apology? I just gave an apology.
and 2, they wanted they set that movie up to be the end.
Yeah, that was the vibe I was gonna say that I got from this movie. Like, the entire ending bit of this movie is just like things like, because they play the song "Everybody Wants to Rule the World" over the end of this, and one of the lines in that bit is "Nothing lasts forever." And it's like, if this is not the fucking end of this franchise, or at the very least Gru's story in this franchise, then I don't know what the fuck they're doing. You have set up the most perfect ending you could possibly have.
Yeah,
let the franchise, or at least Gru's part of it, end here.
Because throughout the entire film, we see all the villains from every movie except the villain family. I didn't really see them. That was in Minions 1.
Yeah. I was gonna say, I didn't see them. We
but
saw
everybody else from that Comic-Con that they went to, Minions 1. The villains from the past movies, and honestly, I don't know how Scarlet Overkill and her husband survived because... They should definitely be dead.
Magic.
Now, the villain 6, that was from Minions 2. Mm-hmm. The girl with the afro and the other guys that came out of the cages at the same time as her.
Yeah.
Those were the main bad guys of Minions 2.
Gotcha.
So, yeah, literally all the villains and pretty, like, most of the cast, except for Gru's family, were there and singing it off.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I agree with you. This should probably maybe be the end of Gru's story for 5.
Yeah.
Sorry, just 4.
Yeah.
And in 5,
focus on the girl.
Focus on Poppy and Gru training Poppy.
Yeah.
That would make a great movie.
Yeah. Like, yeah, absolutely agree. There's nowhere this franchise can possibly go that would be a better ending than this. There is no place you could end Gru's story better than this moment right now.
Like, when I looked at the villain school, I'm like, oh, that's Hogwarts. Poppy at Hogwarts, being trained by Gru and his old teachers. That would make a Despicable Me 5 movie, Hogwarts style, where Poppy is learning from the best villains around.
Yep. Yeah.
Do it!
Although I will say, I love the fact in the movie, she's at the school, but we see in the prison that they're at, where they're doing the song, we see the principal of the school in the prison.
Yeah.
So, like, who the hell's the principal right now? But I did love that she brought the mascot back. Like,
yeah.
It's just like, I mean, I stole it to get in, but I'm not gonna keep it at my house.
The only character I did not see return, besides the villain family, was the new head of the AVL.
Mm-hmm.
That's why Ramsbottom is back, because I guess now a lot of people
liked the new guy.
Girl.
Oh.
It was a chick.
I couldn't remember.
And honestly, I think that's for the best. I doubt anybody liked her, but I mean, that was the point of her character. Her character wasn't supposed to be
enjoyed.
Liked. No.
Yeah.
So they did so well that they had to boot her from 4.
They got me out of retirement for this.
Yeah. So, anyway.
But yeah. That's all I got.
I don't think there's really much I have left.
Yeah.
Like, I'm throwing you the ideas for Despicable Me 5. Somebody relay this to the people over at Universal.
Yeah.
Please.
Universal's watching this review where we explained to them the only way you should do a sequel to Despicable Me at this point that's not Minions is Poppy at the school being Gru's successor, and there's nothing else you can do with Gru.
I like how she's the third Poppy that we know, and she is still beloved.
Yeah.
Like those Poppy from Monster Musume, Poppy from Pokemon, and now Poppy from Despicable Me.
But not Poppy's Playtime. Younger brother doesn't like that one.
No.
So, anyways, with that, guys, we're going to move on to the reviews, looking at the critical consensus and the audience consensus of Despicable Me 4. Now, here's one of those movies where the audience and critical consensus are about as conflicting as you can possibly get. Because the critics have rated the movie as 53%. And the audience has rated it at 90%. Critics said, fast-paced and teamless slapstick gags, Despicable Me 4 is as overstuffed as a pinata, but full of enough candy to give audiences an enjoyable sugar rush. Now, I would not say that is a 53% rating. That's a 70 rating. Now, I don't think I'm going to agree with audiences here. I don't think this is a 90% movie. And I don't think I agree with critics that this is a 53% movie.
I want to say it's about 70.
Yeah, that's where I naturally want to go. I want to check some of the older Despicable Me movies.
Because it's not better than 1, it's not better than 2 or 3.
Yeah. So yeah, you were right. They actually did for the last Despicable Me movie. That's pretty similar score. 58% for that one. But yeah, so yeah, I would definitely say that I think the original Despicable Me might have been a little bit better than the 80 that they put on here. But I definitely think that it's better than the 53.
Yeah, now check Minions.
Yeah. Minions.
I don't think it was better than Minions 1.
Yeah, which is 70. And
no, that's 2.
You're right. So that's original.
I don't agree with 2.
Yeah, with being 56%. No, I like those villains. That was a really fun movie.
No. This is 2, this is 1.
Yes. I didn't see 2. I'm talking about 2 or 1. The one with the guy and the girl.
Yes,
I'm saying I liked those villains.
This one's not.
Yes! We're agreeing. I'm saying 56 is not a good score for that because those were good villains and it was a good movie. I'm saying that the score should be higher. Why are you disagreeing with me?
I don't know.
Like, I'm trying to say these are swapped.
I heard something else.
Yeah, it's like, I think these scores are probably swapped.
Yes.
Like, that's...
100%.
Again, I haven't seen Minions: The Rise of Gru, so I don't know, but according to Younger Bro, they should be swapped. So, yes, I would say, I think I'd agree with 70. I think that it's not a great movie. It's an okay movie. I think that it would have been better if they cut the superheroes out of this movie and they refocused the movie. You could have even kept it an hour and a half. But, like, focus a little bit more on the
low profile.
The low profileness, the hiding out, the one side story that you had, like, with Poppy. You can make that work. Maybe 70 slightly higher for my end. Maybe I'd be closer to like high 60s or something. But like, I don't even want to go that low because it's like I think it's a solid, fine movie. It's not great.
To me, Rise of Gru is approaching 60, and I would say 4 is so much better than Rise of Gru.
Haven't seen it. I can't exactly say how I feel about that movie, but like I can, yeah. I don't want to go any higher than 70%. Like I would want to go slightly lower than 70%. But I think 70% is a perfectly fine score. It's solid. It could be much better. It is not the worst thing this franchise has done, and it's not the worst movie. But, again, this franchise has gone on for a long time. And somehow unlike most franchises where the franchise goes on for a long time and they run out of ideas, Minions paradoxically goes on longer and they gain even more ideas. There were too many ideas in this movie, and they needed to trim it back a little bit. Rather than they had no ideas at all.
If I had to bet, the next movie will be probably Minions 3.
Probably. So, I kind of want them to stop making this franchise. As much as I'd like a Poppy movie where we focus on her from now on, and she actually just is a villain, and doesn't get reformed. I think this is a solid point. Let's just leave it. Make something else. So, with that, I think that's going to be it for this hot take. We're going to come back next time with a new movie. We'll see what it is alongside you guys.
Yeah, because you'll find out next week.
Yeah. Until then, we will see you all on the next hot take.
Goodbye.